Hello all, I'm Vineet back with another video. Today I'll be painting Beast from X-Men. I'm planning to do a series of painting characters from X-Men. This painting took me about 5.5 hours to complete. I'll start with blocking in the backgrounds and rough silhouette for the character. In this case, I'm not quite sure what the pose will be. So I just made a silhouette and try to figure out the pose within it, and you can see that I have not used lines in this painting because I wanted to approach in a painterly way, establishing the rough shadows, highlights and the midtones, and then going over it, simplifying it a little bit, finding the shape and trying to develop the character of the beast as closely as possible. Adding tones for the shadow and highlight. Then I've added a belt to it because I have a costume idea in mind, but I'm not quite sure that how the costume is supposed to look like. I'll just figure it out in the later stages. And you can see that I have added some of the darkest shadows and highlight in the areas of the legs. And now I've moved on to the area of the face, which is one of the most important areas. Just giving the primary silhouettes to everything like the teeth, tongue, the overall mouth, the abdomen area. I was thinking about the costume, but then I decided to paint the full chest and the body that has a lot of hair and fur to it, and adding the costume later, because when the costume is there and someone wears it, there's a little bit of ambient occlusion from where the contact shadows are formed. So I decided to just go on for the hairs first and then I'll go for the costume. Here I'm rendering the mouth and the face a little bit. Quite recently I have developed a feeling that World of Warcraft and Blizzard Entertainment faces are appealing to me more. So I thought, why not try to mix a little bit of orc character into the beast face. um, but I don't know how successful I was, but still in the fur, eyes, nose and the facial features I've tried capturing the little bit of the painted essence with brush strokes, and here just adding the highlights with the overlay mode. With the overall colors and tone established, now I can move on to rendering the fur. Here I use a custom brush for hair. It's made by me. It's a simple dot scattered all over, or you can call it just a scatter brush I have created, which it has around many dots. When you drag it gives an illusion of fur. It's just a matter of finding the areas of interest where I want to show the fur and where I don't want to. Even there are different tonalities of the fur at the base level, which are near to the skin. They'll be different in colors, tones and shades. The thickness level will be different, and the more we move upon the layers of the fur, we'll find different kinds of fur. And also fur is shiny, catches a lot of light. I was trying not to blow up the picture with too much of light, because I feel if we add too much of light or too much of shadows, we can totally mess up with the character silhouette. And here I'm trying to figure out the costume once again, but nothing comes to my mind. But in general, while rendering the film, I was just thinking about how should the costume be, and I just took a look at few comics and I found few of the references from the Ultimate series, from the new X-Men that is going on, Uncanny X-Men, and I found out a costume that has very simple design to it, and I torn it apart from the middle to show that my beast is fighting someone where it has been torn and he's on a bouncing pose. and he's about to get hold of the guy who just ripped off the costume. Now moving on to the foreground of the figure, the arm is there, and I'll just repeat the same process, rinse and repeat the same process of blocking in the fur shapes, then using my custom brushes to create some impressions of the brush. As you can see, I have not rendered the front foot, and it has just the suggestion of the light and shadow where it is going to get it rendered. Now I have moved to rendering it, and I have noticed, like in the movies also, X-Men 1, 2 and 3, the beast that they show us is not quite bulky, it's little lean, and I totally understand, like for practical reasons, for filmic reasons, when we have to create something realistic we set boundaries, but for this illustration I was just trying to go for how we have received beast in the comics and try to mix a little bit of painterly style to it. And I have noticed, like when people drew beast in comics and when the colorist hop onto the color, I don't know, maybe the design is such, like he has two different tonalities of blue over his head hairs, separating the hairs and fur. And I have gone for a little bit that kind of approach, and you can also see the orc references in the face from the Blizzard style. Now just rendering the belt, keeping it a little bit shiny, keeping the metallics little bit. Although it's a costume, I'm not going to make it look like exactly it's a metal. Though the belt area is a little bit brighter, and I was thinking about adding abs, but then the idea struck, like how come we are going to show abs over the costume, because he has so much of hairs, all the muscle are covered, even the deltoids are visible little. So I thought, let's give a costume the plain surface, smooth surface, because lots of hair is there to pack the underneath, so there will be less wrinkles and quite tight fitting. Just rendering a little bit for the hand which is at the back, and so far it's done, I suppose. Thank you all for watching the video, and if you like the process, like what I have done, consider subscribing, sharing with your friends and whom you think it might help. By the way, this painting will be available on ArtStation and on Instagram. I'm known by the name of Winbeck Pen. You can follow me there, and I usually post art there. Thank you.
Wow.